things that we've been through. Life is better with you.
Hey guys, I'm Brian.
And I'm Allison.
And this is
Our Life in Front of the Bleachers.
So we've been at this now together for 30 years, correct?
30 years, yes. Married 27. Because we were together during college doing
Yeah. And I proposed to you while we were in college.
it. You sure did.
That was the best answer you ever gave.
It was. You're lucky.
Ain't no doubt. There's no doubt. So we got
I'm
out
just
of
kidding. I'm lucky one.
She said that one. Yeah. I saw the expression. So when we got out of college, we really had very little sense on what life was going to have in store for us, nor did we even know how we were going to pay bills.
Well, because we graduated in May. We got married a month and a half later. And then we you did your thing in the summer. I did my thing. We were
What
looking for
thing?
jobs.
I
I was working nannying jobs that I had year after year, finishing that up.
Yeah, but as far as a profession goes,
Did not
we
have
had
a
no
clue.
chance. But see, I didn't come out of college thinking I was going to be a teacher. I thought I'm going to go do this college coaching thing. And, I got a little bug because I'd actually coached middle school basketball the last year of
That was
college.
your good team.
They were fun. And I got the bug of, man, this was pretty doggone fun coaching these young kids. And, middle school coaching versus middle school teaching, that's a different world. But I didn't have a clue about that one. But I didn't have a teaching certification. So by thinking of it, I saw how much more I was going to get paid. And at the time, I think it was like $24,000 a year. I was like, wow, I'm going to be rich. And that's what a first year teacher made way back when.
Yeah.
And $24,000 a year plus any coaching or whatever else it was. I was like, man, I think that's going to be better than this $7,000 to $12,000 I was going to get coaching Division III sports. I was like, no chance. So we went that route, and I was only offered, one gig. I'd travel. Well, I got offered in another state, but we weren't sure about that. But I got offered that one gig, and it was in a rural area, and it had good football historically and such. But I'm still 23 years old and don't know left from right or anything. And I go into teaching, and we had a pretty strong principal who had rigid standards. And I'm on the second floor of this building that had no air conditioning. We had ceiling fans that only went on one speed. So when you're teaching in August in that kind of heat, I didn't have any desks. So the kids were at tables, and there were 6 chairs at each table. So it was ridiculously hot in that room. And that was my first day with a tie. I had to wear a tie.
Well, yeah, you wore a tie, and you continued to wear a tie because the
'Cause I
cafeteria lady.
thought I was a student, yeah. So I had to, we had to wear it anyway because that was the expectation of the administration. But it was so darn hot. And then wearing those shoes, my feet hurt so badly every day standing up. But the first day, and this should have been a little telltale for me. So I had this class right after lunch, and in the middle of the day, it's hotter than Hades. So this little girl was sitting next to my desk at the table, and she said, "Coach, I need to go see the nurse." It's the first day of class. I'm like, "Can you hold on a few minutes? Because I'm trying to get things started and get roll taken because it's before computers. I'm doing everything." And she said, "I don't think I can." So I went over to the desk to write the pass to the nurse. I look back over, and she's got 2 fingers just like this. And hamburger, pizza, and chocolate milk everywhere. And I don't mind saying that. I was really fast as a 23-year-old. I was quick. And I was by far the first one out that door. I bolted out of that classroom. I was gone because I didn't know what to do. It was everywhere. Book bags were covered in chocolate milk and hamburger pizza. And poor little girl, she's embarrassed all get out, but I'm in the hallway doing what you're doing. I'm about to gag. Well, we couldn't, there were no janitors that would come clean it. So for the next,
I wouldn't either.
well, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, rancid chocolate milk and hamburger pizza all over the room. So when you walk in, it smells like total death. And it was so embarrassing, I'm sure, to her, but I'm 23 years old. I had no idea what I was doing. I had one class that had one girl in it and 30 boys. And they were all from, areas that were pretty tough. And they were all in this one class with no desks to occupy them in the 7th grade. You talking about ants in the pants. These kids couldn't sit still for anything.
Mm.
And if anything, it should have served for me as a great means of birth control.
Nope.
No, because there in December we were then pregnant with our first child, but it should have been a good telltale to say maybe you might want to rethink this thing through and through. But
Well, kind of helped you with the one that's with his red dye allergy.
no, not a bit. That didn't help me at all. But when you start looking back on these things and you look how hard and difficult it was, I'm coaching basketball, I'm coaching football. I don't know much. I'm
Driving 45 minutes.
45 minutes one way, and then you're not in your professional world yet. You're just
Well,
taking on whatever jobs you can to pay the bills.
I ended up, I
Not
think,
early
right,
on, yeah,
no, right before,
because we didn't have cell phones.
no,
And I remember you had one job, and you were working at a store, and you sliced your hand at the store.
yeah,
And
I was working at the, it's a CVS, I think, and I was working in the photo area, and because these pictures came through, I wasn't allowed to release them, so I had to cut them up,
and you sliced your own
and
self.
I sliced my finger and had to go
Well, I think you
get
left a message in the
stitches.
office for me to know, but you can't get much from a written message other than you're at the hospital or the doctor. So it was
No,
it
but
was
then I did have a job because I quit that one and got the phone call that day to come in, and I became a social worker at the nursing home in the
yeah.
area.
And you enjoyed some of that. That was for sure, especially after you didn't have to cut up some,
Nude pictures.
pornographic pictures or
No,
anything. So that was good for you to be able to be in a
no,
nursing
I
home,
liked my little residence.
I'm sure. And then when you got pregnant, you were very, very fortunate that at that time, Burger King was changing their French fries.
Burger King was changing French fry, y'all, and
They
you
gave
know
out free
I
French
love
fries.
my French
And they
fries.
gave out free French fries for a little while.
Yes.
So
And McDonald's had the teeny beanie babies, and I had to collect them all, so I had to buy Happy Meals to
well,
get
that's where all my $24,000 went, to Beanie Babies. And I bet you didn't keep them so we can make
I
money
still
off
have
them.
them.
Oh, well, don't look over
Yeah,
here, because now people going to come breaking out our house for our $1 million Beanie Babies.
I think the kids should sell them.
I think I should sell them. That's certainly the way it goes. But that first year was, very difficult. And I remember, I think it was like the second week of school, I was so tired. And I think school started like 7:10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I slept through my alarm clock. And again, we have a really strict principal. And I'm trying to, impress the best I can, but I'm overwhelmed with everything. And I had no clue. And there wasn't a lot of mentorship that was,
Being
forgiving at
given,
all.
yeah.
No, I mean, they just expect you to figure it out, which I'm kind of that mindset now too. I don't want to babysit anybody. But, thinking of that back, that was probably the most stressful morning that I can ever recall in
Oh,
education,
I remember that.
because I thought I was going to get fired. And I came in, and I think they covered for me, and I don't think anybody knew I was, because there was no way to text anybody. It was call to school and tell them you're on your way. But I think I was probably 45 minutes to an hour late that day. And I just felt so bad. I probably drove 100 miles an hour. I'm lucky I didn't get a ticket or anything, but it was a tough year. But it did set a great foundation, knowing that I started in middle school, you started at Rite Aid, and okay, we're going to be appreciative of the jobs we take from here on out. And
Yeah.
then soon thereafter is where we took another job in the western part. We made some great relationships and friends, and
And
then
that
the
point I
family
stayed
started.
at home.
Yeah, the family started expanding, and you needed to be at home
Well,
with our
because
child.
at that point in time, if I had gone to work, I would have only been making maybe $100 a month to
With
contribute
childcare.
with
Yeah.
childcare and having to drive because I would have had to have driven at that point in
Yeah, an
time.
hour and a half plus. Yeah, it'd have been tough.
So for that, it wasn't
Wasn't worth
worth
it.
it. Mm-mm.
No. So economically speaking, we barely made ends meet. But I think it was some of the happiest times that I can
Yeah.
recall because life was simple. We had to make it simple because we couldn't afford anything.
Oh, we had good times though.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and there were some, great times with the kids being able to be raised in a rural atmosphere without worry of much, and you get them snow and sledding and all the other things that
Hmm.
that you don't get down here at the beach and such. But I look back on it with fond memories. But I look at that first year and said, okay, that made me start appreciating some things, especially in the teaching world, because I taught social studies for 20 years before I moved over to just PE and in the classroom and classroom management and relationships and learning how to clean up puke. It just gave me so much insight that first year on how you're supposed to manage all this stuff because it's going to come at you fast. Even the projectile vomit comes at you fast. And you try to figure out ways to, lessen the burden. Don't get stressed. Keep calm as much as possible. And don't be the first one out the room when something goes bad. But that was the last time I was the first one out. But I've been out before for sure for lots of other things, fights and you name it. But uh, it's been some good times, and we're getting towards the latter part here, and we can look back and reminisce and say, ha
Yeah.
ha ha.
Yeah.
But not at that moment. It was kind of
You
like,
ever go
what in the
back to
world?
middle school?
Would I?
Hmm.
Yeah, as a student, absolutely. I go way back when because I was the most awkward middle school student ever. I had nothing but big ears and big feet, had no style of dress because I didn't have any money. We didn't have any clothes. I had one pair of jeans in middle school. But I look at all these things these kids have
Oh,
to
I
deal
know.
with and social media and vaping and everything else that's so, available to them and many times seen as the norm. I don't know that I could handle that. I don't know that, I probably would have the patience for much of that at my career, but at this stage, but there's some things I'd love to be able to help with. There's some things that maybe people of my age can certainly give to middle schoolers, but there's a huge disconnect when you're talking about what they have to deal with now versus what we had to deal with way back when.
I
So,
always explain middle schoolers as like they're like the middle child, that awkward middle child. Like you really, they're not the young ones anymore, but they're not the older ones to have the responsibility. They're just stuck in that awkward
well,
age.
you were a dropout prevention coordinator for middle school and you saw
I
it directly.
loved, I actually liked the middle schoolers just because they were so awkward but fun
Kind
sometimes.
of like a husband. Very awkward, but fun. Hey guys, this is
Our life in front of the bleachers.
Take Care.